All right, everybody. Happy times. We're at Dave's Man Cave. Hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Shuffling some of my watch collection around. Had a Seiko, that one I got for the Japanese domestic market that looks like the Explorer 2. I loved it. I've worn it several times. And every time I look down on my wrist, I'm like, God, that 39 mil is really small. And when I was at Jared buying either my Tag or one of my Frederic Constant, she was like, why are you wearing a watch that small? And I was like, all right, it's too small for me. So my neighbor Nelly's going to take it off my hands. I'm going to give him a sweet deal on it. He'll get a brand new watch that's been worn twice for half off. And he likes 39 is kind of like his sweet spot. So perfect for his wrists. So anyway, I went out to replace it because really the only other Seiko I have is my King Turtle, which I love the King Turtle. Love the retro design. Love that it's just a basic, sturdy automatic. I like the Cyclops, and I love that blue dial. But when I was buying this, I was between this and another watch. So there's the King Samurai, and then there is the what they're calling the Mini Samurai. So this is just, it's like 41.8 or something like that. We'll go through the specs in a second. This is the other one that I kind of fell in love with, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to go with the blue because it's a turtle and kind of a weird shape. And then I was like, all right, well, I got to replace that other one that I'm selling. So I will go ahead and check out this one. So this one is the SRPL11. It's part of their Prospects series. MSRP is $575. I got it for $450 over at Tripp & Company Jewelers over in the Dawsonvilles. And what this is it's just a barely under 42 mil automatic using the 4R35 caliber from Seiko, which is a great little caliber. It's not their high-end caliber, but it's a good caliber. It's very reliable. It is stainless steel. It has 23 jewels. Let's change the angle a little bit here because there we go. The power reserve is 41 hours. We have a diameter of 41.7. We have a lug to lug of 49.5. And a thickness of 12.3. So it's big enough, but it's not a really big watch. I mean, compared to the Turtle, it is a good bit smaller. So for those of you that don't want the big, whatever that is, 43 or almost 44, it's deceptive because the bezel is smaller than the base. But if you want a watch that's not quite that big or as big as some of my Lives or my Longines Hydro Conquest, which is a 44, those are big watches. I prefer them. A lot of people don't. This sits just under that 42, and it wears really small. It's really nice. We'll get some close-up shots in a second. Lumi Bright on hands, and my flashlight's still downstairs. Damn it. But it does have, it's a Seiko. They always have decent lume. They're not the best. They're not the worst. It is a 3-fold clasp with secure lock. Nice action. You've got very generous. While it does not have half links, which is the same situation as my Tag Heuer Formula 1, unlike the Tag Formula 1, which only has 3 of the micro adjusts, the Tag, all 3 of them are like less than half the space of these 4. So on my Tag, I either have to wear it slightly loose or slightly tight. And I actually called Tag, and they do not make half links for that. And I don't want to try the aftermarket because it'll probably not match. So we ended up having to take 3 links out of this guy right here. And with the micro adjust, I'm on the second tightest. I can go a little bit tighter and I can go a little bit looser. This does not have a wetsuit extension, which I don't care about. If I'm going scuba diving, it's going to be somewhere probably down in the Caribbean where the water's like 84 degrees. And I don't think I need, well, I guess if you go deep enough, maybe it gets colder down there. I don't know, never gone scuba diving, so I'm just not worried about it. Bezel action, decent. I will say that the knurling here is not that grippy. If your hands are wet, you might have to pinch it a little harder. It doesn't have the deep kind of chunky grooves machined in here, like where this is really easy. The detent action is comparable. It's just, it feels a little slicker. And I keep going past the notch. And my OCD is like, no, you got to line that up. So there we go. I love the red. They had one of these in green, and I like the green kind of matte on the bezel. But then the green here was really bright, and it was weird. It was like green here and then wavy green up here, I guess, to simulate waves. And to me, it made it look a little cheaper. This looked a little more retro and it looked nicer. It looked like a more expensive watch, even though technically the other one was $50 more. So overall, you got your little date down there in the window. Now, I'll be honest, you know, that's probably the only thing. Two things I would knock this watch on. One, the date down there. I need reading glasses to see that. That is really, really tiny. It's almost unusable. I would have liked to have it somewhere where you've got I mean, I can read it, but it's hard in certain lighting. I'm sure if the sun was on it, I'd see it easier. But it says the 28th, 29th. Shit, I don't even know. Let me look through my camera. Can I see it? No, I'm at the wrong angle here. I'm going to assume that he said it and it's on the right day. If not, I'll check it when I get downstairs. That's probably the only thing I would really knock it on. I like the hard edges. I've always liked the idea of the samurai. This is all kind of rounded and things like that. And this has its own charm. But I liked the fact that it had like these hard edges and it was just, I don't know, angular and very cool. The back is really nice. Neither of these have exhibition case backs, but it's got a really nice machined, maybe it's stamped, whatever, back on it. It is screw in. It does have 200-meter water resistance. It has a screw down crown, and the knurling on the crown is actually really, really nice. It's got a nice feel. It's got a cool kind of industrial almost look to it. It's very functional. It has Hardlex crystal, as is this. And I feel like, I know Seiko uses it and it has its advantages. It's not quite as scratch. It's very hard, but it is not as scratch resistant as sapphire, but it is more durable. So whereas if something were to hit it, you might ding it and scratch it, but the sapphire might crack it or break it, whereas this will take the hit, you might have a nick or scratch in it, but it's less likely to crack or shatter. Everything's a trade-off. Same way with knife steels and stuff like that. You can have a crazy hard, Rockwell scale, a type of rating on your blade, and that'll be great for keeping a razor sharp edge for a long, long time, but it will make it harder to sharpen because it's harder. And it's also more likely to chip or snap. So, everything's a trade-off. Or you can have the Swiss Army knife, which has a 52 to 54 Rockwell, which is actually kind of low. But that edge will wear out quicker, but you can just bring it up to a sharp, very, very quickly. And you're more likely to bend it than snap it. And the Swiss believe, well, in an emergency situation, are you better off with a bent blade that you got to stick between a rock and bend back? Or what if your blade snaps off? You can sharpen that knife on a rock much easier than you could, So everything's a trade-off, is my point. It is solid links. It's a really nice looking watch. I like, let's pop it on and see how I like it. Like I said, the only thing I'm really not crazy about is the date is so small that for me, at least in this lighting, the poor lighting in my office, it's almost unusable. Maybe when I get downstairs or I'm out in the sunlight, it'll be better. It fits real well. That's just a tiny bit loose, but that's the beauty of it. I've still got, some adjustment going there. But really nice. I love the color. I love the red. I did have the Tissot C-Star 1000, and I did sell that to a coworker because I wanted something that thing was like a 45 mil. That is a huge watch. And I don't mind it on my Liv. I have a Liv that's that big, but it doesn't have a solid steel bracelet. And the other one that's that big is titanium. So while being the same size, they're not as heavy. This is just a different kind of red, and I just love that bezel. I like Seiko. It's relatively inexpensive. Like I said, you could pick these up for probably under $500. We'll do a couple kind of close-up-ish macro-type shots here. Shots, not shocks. And what else is there to say? It's just a nice watch. It's machined very well. The fit and finish on it is excellent. You've got your drilled lugs, so it does make it a little bit easier to get your tool in there than to get in there and kind of scratch things up trying to, grab it. Seems really nice. Seems like a beautiful watch. So there we've got a close-up of the dial. Very nice. Let's go down to the lug area. You can see the knurling on there. It's just not deep. It looks nice, and it does work. But like if you had gloves on or something, depending on the material, your hand might slip a little. whereas you get a little bit more bite on some other watches because they've got less, the knurls are bigger on the other ones. These look nice. I think it looks better, but the other one's actually more useful. So if that bothers you, I don't know, it doesn't really bother me because I don't really dive, so it's probably never going to be an issue. I think I got a piece of plastic. Yeah, gotta remove a little bit more pieces of the whatever stuff that's in there still. But oh, actually, you know what this does have? Maybe this does have an extension. I think it does. I don't know how you pop it out. You do it when it's, how does one, so if that's snapped in there, you just pull it out? I don't know. The other one, I had another Seiko. I don't want to bend anything or break anything, but once you realize how to do it, oh, there you go. It actually is kind of easy. So you got to push that up and out, and that will let me now get to that piece to get that little piece of plastic wherever it was. Overall, I think it's nice. So you hook that in and then, oh, that's how you do it. Put that on, see how it hooks, and snap it into place. All right, not so bad. The bracelet there. Let's look at the crown and the crown guard. That back looks good. Baby got back. It'd be nice to see a machined, but you know, Seiko, like a lot of Japanese, it's. I think they put the fit and finish on the dial. Seiko makes great dials. The bezel looks really good. All the machining, everything you touch and feel and see here looks great. You only see this when you're putting it on and off. So am I willing to let that slide? Yeah. You know, are less expensive watches like San Martin and some of the Chinese brands making watches that have really nice fit and finish, and they come with sapphire, and they come with milled clasps? Yeah, but you're dealing with a Chinese company, and who knows the warranty and the longevity of it, as opposed to, you know, a very old, respected Japanese, you know, one of the most respected brands. It may not be the most prestigious. It's not Rolex. It's not Omega. It's not FP Journe. But they're very respected for their contribution to the watch community and the watch industry, and they certainly are known for quality, and their fit and finish is excellent. Yeah, really good. It's a very fine brushed surface, almost bordering on polished. But here, when you look at the clasp, brushed, but you got a nice, highly polished bevel on that. Just lots of nice little touches. It's a good looking little watch. It's not too big, not too small. It's Goldilocks. It's just right. So that is what we got today to replace the one that's going out. And I'm going to go grab a glass of scotch, and I'm going to go jump in the goddamn pool. So everybody else, have a good day. If you want more info on this, I'll put some stuff up in the description. But it is a really, really nice watch. I will enjoy wearing that. 200-meter water resistance. The green one was also PADI, P-A-D-I. It was the Dive Association. That one was PADI, so maybe that had an extra certification. Maybe that's why it was a little more. I just really like the red. I don't have any. I have a couple watches with red dials. I've got, what do I have? My Belova Jetstar, which is this beautiful ruby. I mean, that's a really pretty watch. Super accurate too. And then what's the other red one I've got? Oh, my PRX. But having a smaller, less cumbersome, lightweight dive watch with, you know, good water resistance and that color red with the red, because I don't think the C-Star had a red dial, but I don't think it had a red bezel. And that's really kind of what I wanted. I wanted red on red. I think that just looks really nice and retro. So there you go. One more close-up shot on the wrist. For size comparison. Try to do this all banging them into each other. Compared to the King Turtle. King Turtle's definitely a bigger and a heavier watch. Definitely has more presence on the wrist. But I think that might be in the sweet spot. Between 41 and 42 mil. I think that's going to fit a lot of people. It wears fairly small. The bracelet's fairly thin. You can see it's a good bit narrower than this one. So for people a little more sensitive to size, but you do want a proper dive watch, there you go. We will see you all later.